The room smelled like panic disguised as luxury. Wall Street executives screaming into phones. Hedge fund managers liquidating positions by the second. Billion-dollar companies collapsing live on giant glowing screens, while financial news anchors spoke with artificial calmness that fooled absolutely nobody. One investor stood near the glass window overlooking Manhattan and said almost nothing for 3 straight days. No emotional speeches, no desperate reactions, no public fear. While the world sold everything in terror, he quietly accumulated assets at fractions of their future value. Companies, land, infrastructure, influence. Entire financial empires transferred ownership during those silent hours of chaos. 5 years later, the aggressive competitors who mocked his patience disappeared completely from the market. He did not win because he was louder. He won because he understood something most human beings never learn. Impatience is one of the most expensive emotions on earth. Most people destroy their future, trying to feel powerful in the present. They chase immediate relief, immediate validation, immediate profit, immediate revenge, immediate recognition. But the elite operate according to a completely different psychological clock. They understand that long-term wars are not won through intensity. They are won through disciplined patience under pressure. And once you understand this principle, you begin seeing modern society differently. Everything around you is engineered to destroy patience. Notifications, fast money fantasies, instant gratification, public applause, emotional outrage. Everyone is trained to react immediately. Very few people are trained to endure strategically. This is why patience feels almost supernatural today. And hidden inside elite financial circles exists a psychological law used quietly during market collapses, negotiations, acquisitions, and long-term business warfare. A law so powerful that it allows calm individuals to survive storms that emotionally destroy everyone around them. But mastering this law requires first understanding a brutal truth about human nature. Most people cannot tolerate uncertainty. The moment outcomes become unclear, emotions take control. Fear accelerates decision-making. Ego demands movement. Anxiety confuses activity with progress. And suddenly intelligent people begin making catastrophic choices simply to escape emotional discomfort. The elite know this. That is why patient individuals often dominate aggressive individuals over time. Aggression burns energy quickly. Patience preserves energy strategically. Watch what happens during financial panic. The public reacts emotionally. They sell valuable assets at the worst possible moment because fear becomes unbearable. But disciplined investors understand something deeper. Real wealth is often transferred during emotional chaos. This is the silent accumulation. While the crowd panics publicly, the patient quietly position themselves privately, not through manipulation, through emotional control. Because emotional control creates clarity, and clarity reveals opportunities invisible to emotional people. This principle applies far beyond money. Relationships, leadership, negotiation, family, business. Everywhere you look, impatient people sabotage themselves emotionally. They celebrate too early, trust too quickly, speak too soon, reveal plans prematurely, react impulsively, and then they wonder why long-term success keeps escaping them. The trap of immediate gratification destroys more futures than lack of talent ever will. A man receives his first financial success and instantly begins broadcasting his lifestyle publicly. A company gains early momentum and immediately expands recklessly. A person receives praise and becomes arrogant before discipline is fully built. Early celebration weakens long-term focus. The elite understand this deeply. That is why many highly successful individuals appear strangely calm, even during massive victories. They do not emotionally explode every time life temporarily rewards them. because they understand something terrifying about momentum. Momentum can reverse quickly, and emotional overconfidence blinds perception. Patience protects perception. The disciplined observer remains stable during both success and disaster. Not emotionless, stable. This is emotional sovereignty under fire. When your business faces attack, when competitors spread pressure, when markets collapse, when people doubt your vision, when your environment becomes emotionally unstable, can you remain internally calm? Because the moment external chaos enters your nervous system completely, judgment collapses, and collapsed judgment creates expensive consequences. Look carefully at history. The individuals who built lasting empires often possessed frightening emotional patience. They understood timing better than emotion. They resisted the urge to move prematurely simply because others demanded movement. Most people mistake patience for weakness because modern culture worships visible action. But strategic patience is not passive. It is controlled restraint. There is a massive difference. Weak people wait because they fear action. Wise people wait because they understand timing. And timing changes everything. A hunter who moves too early scares away opportunity. An investor who enters too early loses leverage. A leader who reacts too early reveals insecurity. Patience is not about doing nothing. It is about refusing to move emotionally before reality becomes clear. This is extraordinarily difficult because human beings are biologically wired to seek certainty. The unknown creates tension, and most people would rather make a bad decision than remain uncertain long enough to discover the correct one. That impatience becomes exploitable. Markets exploit it. Provocateurs exploit it. Manipulative people exploit it. And life itself punishes it repeatedly. The elite survive differently because they train themselves to tolerate discomfort longer than average people. That is the real advantage. Not intelligence alone, not resources alone, emotional endurance. Imagine two entrepreneurs facing the same crisis. Revenue collapses. Employees panic. Pressure increases daily. One reacts emotionally, constantly changing direction, constantly broadcasting fear, constantly seeking reassurance from outsiders. The other becomes quieter, more disciplined, more observant. He studies carefully before acting. He reduces emotional leakage. He protects the morale of his people. One man spreads panic through the environment. The other stabilizes the environment through patience. Guess which business survives longer? Calmness under pressure creates trust, and trust compounds faster than excitement ever will. This is why the elite guard emotional energy carefully. They understand a dangerous truth. Emotional exhaustion destroys strategic thinking. Most people are mentally drained because they react to everything, every opinion, every insult, every market fluctuation, every emotional wave. Their nervous systems become permanently hijacked by external conditions. But patient individuals build internal insulation. They create psychological distance between events and reactions. Inside that distance lives wisdom, and wisdom almost always appears slower than emotion. Notice how emotionally weak people operate during conflict. They demand instant responses, instant explanations, instant decisions. They become uncomfortable when calm people refuse emotional urgency, because emotional urgency is often artificial pressure disguised as importance. The disciplined understand this. Not every fire deserves immediate movement. Not every attack deserves immediate defense. Not every opportunity deserves immediate pursuit. Sometimes patience itself becomes the strategy, especially when protecting a long-term vision. The elite rarely rush to prove themselves publicly because public validation is temporary fuel. Instead, they focus on quiet accumulation, skills, assets, relationships, knowledge, discipline, influence, all built silently over years while the public obsesses over appearances. This is why many successful people seem invisible before they become undeniable. You did not notice them during accumulation. You noticed them only after compounding made their position obvious, and compounding rewards patience mercilessly. A single disciplined decision repeated consistently over years becomes enormous. A single impulsive mistake repeated consistently over years becomes catastrophic. Life magnifies patterns. This is why Sabr is so powerful psychologically. True patience is not passive suffering. It is disciplined emotional stability while continuing purposeful movement toward a higher objective. Anyone can remain calm when life is easy. Real patience reveals itself under pressure, when your vision is mocked, when your progress feels invisible, when competitors appear ahead temporarily, when your sacrifices seem unrewarded. Can you continue steadily without emotional collapse? That is where long-term wars are truly won, because impatient people eventually expose themselves. They become reckless, desperate, emotionally reactive. They seek shortcuts. They compromise values. They abandon discipline for immediate relief. And the market eventually punishes desperation every single time. The elite understand something almost spiritual about timing. Not every opportunity belongs to you immediately. Some opportunities require maturity before possession. Without internal discipline, external success becomes dangerous. Sudden money destroys undisciplined minds. Sudden influence destroys weak character. Sudden visibility attracts dangerous attention. Patience prepares the container before the blessing arrives. That preparation matters more than people realize, because if your emotional foundation is unstable, success amplifies instability instead of fixing it. This is why wise individuals often grow slowly and quietly first. They build emotional architecture privately before public expansion arrives. Strength before exposure, discipline before scale, stillness before power. And now we arrive closer to the classified psychological law mentioned earlier. The principle quietly used by elite wealth funds, experienced negotiators, and deeply disciplined leaders during periods of massive uncertainty. Most people react to pressure emotionally. The disciplined convert pressure into observation. That is the secret. When markets panic, they observe. When competitors attack, they observe. When environments become unstable, they observe. Observation delays impulsive reaction, and delayed reaction creates a strategic advantage. Because emotional people reveal themselves fastest under stress. Fear reveals weak conviction. Arrogance reveals hidden insecurity. Desperation reveals lack of preparation. But patient observers gather information, while emotional people leak information constantly. This becomes an extraordinary advantage during long-term conflict, especially because time itself exposes weakness. Weak strategies collapse eventually. Weak discipline collapses eventually. Fake confidence collapses eventually. But patient people survive long enough to witness those collapses. And survival itself becomes power. The world often glorifies explosive success stories, while ignoring the hidden years of patient preparation underneath them. The sleepless nights, the restraint, the delayed gratification, the emotional battles no camera ever records. Everyone wants the outcome. Very few people want the waiting. But the waiting shapes the person capable of carrying the outcome responsibly. Without patience, power becomes dangerous. Without patience, wealth becomes unstable. Without patience,